There are different aspects of your mind. And the existence, which we refer to as dream. You have of course heard of the famous speech, "Yes, I have a dream." But now we're talking about dreams that you don't dream, but they happen to you. You do not arrive at it because of the nature of life that you're experiencing, but seem to happen to you from somewhere. These dreams can be categorized into four categories. These four can be further categorized into many, many more, but we will look at the four. %, I would say, or more. 90% of the dreams are just a release. Most human minds are made like this. They cannot help it. Whatever they recognize as good, beautiful, attractive, valuable, they cannot help desiring it. It's simply happening because the mind is in that mode. If something is good, I must have it. So when it's in that mode, it keeps on desiring many, many, many things. It's your fortune that all those desires don't come true. If they come true, you will be in such a great mess. But I'm saying, dreams are an exaggeration of all the things that you desire. Or in other words, it's a release. In your dream, you're fulfilled. If this release doesn't happen in your dream, now this can become a great frustration. This can become such a big compulsion within you. So dream is working for you in that sense. There is nothing to do about this, nothing to remember, no need to remember, let it go. But if you're having a lot of dreams on a daily basis, now you must look at the day. You must become more conscious. The more conscious you become during your day, you will see the less dreaming will happen in the night. More unconsciously you aspire for everything around you, the more dreaming will happen. Another manifestation of the dream is, there is something called as prarabdha. Prarabdha means now, there is a vast accumulation of memory in the system. This is something that we refer to as the karmic structure or the karmic body. Karmic body is just memory body. A huge memory is there. If all that memory comes into play now in your life, your mind will break, for sure. It's too much memory for anybody to handle. Because there was an immense experience, you can handle it. Otherwise, your mind will break. When such memory falls upon your mental structure, it cannot handle the latent memory becoming an active process. So, Nature has devised a way, or your own system has evolved a way of taking up one part of the memory as the allotted memory to be dealt with right now. This is called as prarabdha. That means it's already allotted memory, it's coming, it's playing. It's not happening here, it's happening here. But that is also ascribed to what is imprinted within you is playing out in front of you. So that is the second type of dream, it is playing out. It is playing out in your day-to-day behavior, in your thought, in your emotion, the way your body feels. If you observe carefully, you will see every day when you wake up in the morning, if you observe very carefully, not just the muscular structure of your body, if you observe carefully how your body feels, you will see every day it will be different. Because prarabdha plays in a certain way, creating everything that happens, every memory release that happens on the mental structure will naturally create a certain sensation or a sensory pattern in the physiological structure. So, depending upon what type of prarabdha on that day, your body begins to feel in a certain way. If people who are conscious, if you observe the way your body feels, today you know what's coming. Those who know how to decipher, on that day they will step back. They know today is not a good day. So what is known to you and what is unknown to you, what you consciously remember and what you do not consciously remember, all of them are entwined in this dream. This is a release of prarabdha. This could have some meaning. In the sense, if you don't have to observe the images of the dream, you have to observe the residue of the dream. Depending upon how the dream has worked out, is it just working out of your latent desires, or is some other memory playing a role in making this happen? You don't go about looking at the imagery. Imagery is not important, but the residue it leaves on the body. When you wake up in the morning, how do you feel? The prarabdha, the second type of dream that we talked about, could indicate many things if one is able to watch it. Especially if something is concerned with your health or the possibility of destruction or damage to your body, prarabdha is a good place to watch. So the third layer of dream is if you touch certain states of experience in your life, so what was not in play, that memory bank which was not in play, has begun to come into play, new release. I don't know if you understand. In India, every Friday they say new release, that means a new cinema is coming. So this is a new release. These can of worms were never there, suddenly new release. Because a powerful experience happened and broke through a certain barrier of memory. These barriers are your protection, because if all of it opens up at once, no mind can handle it, it'll just break. So this is called this storehouse of memory or storehouse of karmic substance is called sanchita. This means this is a warehouse of memory. If all of it comes, nobody will be able to handle. So, something from that entered your life. That means this life has become a larger scope than what it was before. Your life was playing out to a certain volume of memory. Now if you break through with a big experience, it has become a larger scope. Larger scope means if you handle it efficiently, larger scope is a great thing. If you handle it inefficiently, larger scope is lot of trouble. In fact, that is all human beings are struggling with, that human life has a larger scope than other creatures. That is the problem, isn't it? If you were like any other creature, you could eat and sleep and be fine. Because it has a larger scope, that is the trouble that they're suffering. So, when a larger scope opens up, then if you handle it right, it'll be very wonderful. If you don't, it'll be painful. But even if it's painful, in the ultimate scheme of things, it's still good for you. You don't like that. Now, Hatha Yoga is painful, isn't it? Yoga is painful, come on, let's admit it. It is painful, but we still do it because in the larger scheme of things, it's good for us. In some way we understand that, that's why we're doing it, isn't it? So, opening up of new areas of memory within you can be very painful. Because now you're putting your life on a fast forward. What should have been handled probably in a next edition, you're trying to handle it in this edition because you're in a little bit of a rush. You don't want to have one more edition, you want to say everything you want to say in this edition. Now it becomes more complex, isn't it? But if you handle it right, it is very good. Otherwise, it suddenly feels like after entering the spiritual path, everything in the whole universe seems to be kicking you up from every direction. Because that's how it is. Because you opened up another dimension which you are not handling. I don't know how it is where you come from, but in India, there is something called as 10th standard, which is a board exam. Okay. Not much stuff in this class, very minimal, but still this is a… this is a place where children are terrified usually, because the examiners are not their own teachers, somebody else is going to correct their paper. So, it all depends how you've been passing till then. Most of them are terrified and anti-diarrheal tablets will sell in millions on that day when the examination comes and all kinds of stuff. This is only a kind of a preparing the child, kind of a rehearse for really graduation for the high school, which comes at 12th standard. If you pass 10th standard, which is supposed to be one milestone in the education process, you don't get into a better place. Suddenly 11th and 12th is in a different dimension of study. Till then it was just this. Suddenly 11th and 12th is completely… everything is multiplying at least 4 times over in terms of syllabi and complexity and everything that you require to study. So passing is not always a good thing. But if you don't pass, you don't go to the next step. If you remain in the same step, you will suffer stagnation. If you move to the next step, you suffer a larger challenge that is bound to be there. So this is just like that. If you remain in the same place, life seems to be comfortable. If you move to the next step, it is definitely next step, but it is a much larger challenge to handle. So you are not sleeping well or you're sleeping well, It is a commentary on your life. There is another kind of dream which is not really a dream, or in other words, this is a dream to establish your consciousness and your energy in a certain way. The Aborigine people call the time of creation as dream time. Creator dreamed it up. In India, we call this Maya or illusion, or an illusion can be called a dream, isn't it? It's called dream time. The time of creation is referred to as dream time. We say, Leela, he's playing with, Creator is weaving his Maya and playing around. The words Leela and Maya describe creation in the most appropriate manner, because that's how it is. And the whole science of what we are referring to as Tantra is just this, that you dream up something and slowly you bring it into reality. First you create it here and slowly roll it out and it becomes a reality. But if your mind is trained enough, if there is substantial sadhana behind you, when you cross that place where there is no memory, right now your mind exists the way it exists only because there is memory, you understand? When you cross that boundary where the terrain of memory is over, only of perception is there, most minds, I would say 99.999, you can put as many nines as you want, that much percentage of the minds will be frozen if they have no memory to operate. What you're doing as yoga is to train the mind to a place where tomorrow if memory falls down, your whole karmic structure just fell down, still you have a mind. Then, if your body falls down, that means if you fall dead, you still have a mind. Now you can navigate yourself where you want, otherwise you go by your tendencies. So these are four types of dreams. The last one you cannot really call it a dream. It is… what to say? It is the other bank. It is not this bank, it is the other bank of existence. So, one thing that I must tell you as advice is, whatever the dream, learn to ignore it. Because if you start looking for meanings in dream, you will lose meaning for your life. You will become hallucinatory.